Cool. Hello. Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. My name is Clark. I am the founder of the United Patients Alliance, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about myself, what brings me to do activism, and who the United Patients Alliance are and what it is that we do. So, first and foremost, I came into finding that cannabis helped me through personal reasons. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis when I was 24 years old in 2010. And it came as quite a big shock, actually. I was quite well, I was quite active. I was in a band, I was in a metal band, so I used to go around the UK doing kind of tours and like playing shows and stuff like that. I used to put on a lot of gigs myself. I was also at university, so I was a very active person. Like every single day I was always doing something, and it kind of hit me really, really hard. So just one day, all of a sudden, I was walking down to the shop. I was in my final year of university. I was just walking down to the shop, and my legs just stopped working. And so I fell over, and I just like collapsed onto the floor. And I was like, what is going on? What is going on? My legs just felt so weird, like tingly, like burning sensations, like, you know when you like hit your funny bone and it has that kind of like electric burn almost, like it's like that, but like times 10. And I just couldn't stand up anymore. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Turned out that, unfortunately, I had multiple sclerosis. So it took quite a while to get that diagnosis. I had to go to the doctor. They didn't really believe me for a while. So I had to go back and forth. You know, what's going on? No, this is real. This is actually happening. Look, I can't walk. Like, you know, seriously, please take me seriously. Finally, they did. They took me for an MRI scan. And in that MRI scan, they found that I had lesions in my brain. So it meant that there's small scarring inside my brain around the myelin sheath that protects the nervous system. So I then went in to have another MRI scan a couple of months later. And then there were more lesions then. So then they were accurately able to say, okay, yeah, it's definitely MS and it's definitely active. Like something is going on here. Let's try and help you. So what was it they offered me to help me? Well, it was a concoction of horrible drugs with a huge list of side effects, which would cost the taxpayer and the NHS £30,000 every single year. So there I was, 24 years old, just on the kind of verge of getting into my life. I was just about to finish university. I was just about to, my plans were to carry on with my promotions company, which was very successful at the time. I was doing really well. You know, I was living my life. I was happy, and then the rug was yanked. It was horrible, and my life changed. My life changed completely. Throughout the time that I was in university, I always liked to consume cannabis. I found that in comparison to alcohol, I enjoyed it a lot more, and I didn't get the hangovers, and I could do my work when I was at uni. I could still complete all my work in time. It didn't take away. In fact, if anything, it added and it helped. It helped me to think creatively and think around what I was talking about, and to think about things that maybe weren't in the books at the time but would make an interesting argument in my essays and stuff like that. So I really felt that it helped me anyway. But when it came to being in pain, when it came to having, so I used to have quite a lot of, I still do get some sometimes, but I get some spasms. So my legs will just go really tight, my chest is really tight, and it just hurts a lot. So when I consume cannabis, that is reduced massively. So I can have a pain level of 10 out of 10, and if I consume cannabis, it will take it down to a 6. If I'm on an 8 out of 10, sometimes it can take it down all the way to a 2 out of 10. So it's a massive difference. I think it's honest to say that it never truly takes the pain away fully. So I'm always in some form of pain. However, cannabis massively helps reduce that and massively increases my quality of life. So I decided that, well, do you know what? Now I've had that taken from me. I've had, my life is gone. Like I can't really be in a band anymore. I was diagnosed with MS, and straight away instant ableism, like instant, you're not good enough anymore. Like, got kicked out of my band. The venue that I used to promote at said, oh, you know, we gave away all your dates. Instantly just discredited and just pushed to the side for now being a disabled person. Like, I faced it instantly. I was in a long-term relationship of 2.5 years. Gone. I lost everything. Like, it just... But then I found cannabis. And yeah, that's why I'm here today, because of cannabis. It helps me get up in the morning. It helps me be able to stand up and walk around. Honestly, if I hadn't not consumed cannabis today, there's no way I'd be here. There's no way I'd be on this stage. There's no way I'd be talking to you about what happened and what's going on, and in what we can do to try and change it. There's absolutely no way. So it's thanks to cannabis that I'm even here. It's thanks to cannabis that I don't cost the NHS £30,000 every year. I mean, I've saved hundreds of thousands of pounds for the NHS now because I've chosen cannabis instead of pharmaceutical drugs. If I do it, and there's 100,000 people, other people with MS in this country, imagine the savings that we could have. Imagine. The NHS might not be in the crisis that it currently is. You know, we could really change this country and change the way that people are treated if we allow legal access to medical cannabis. So I decided that I needed to do something about it. So I got involved with the cannabis activism scene, with Normal UK, with the UK CSC, and then I went on to found the United Patients Alliance, because I felt it was necessary, it was needed. There wasn't an organisation specifically representing patients in Parliament. There wasn't an organisation specifically going to MPs and talking about how cannabis helps as a medicine. So we needed to do that, and we founded in 2014 with the help of Professor David Nutt and Caroline Lucas MP. And we've gone from strength to strength ever since. We started out off as a small group of dedicated people, and that has got larger and larger and larger as we've gone on in our campaigns, and as we've gone on to continue what we're doing. We really are made up of patients. So the different people that I've met now in my activism and in the campaigning that I've done throughout, cannabis helped every single one of them. I could sit here for a long time naming all of the illnesses and naming all of the diseases that it helps with, but I haven't really heard of one that it hasn't helped. So I think that's probably where we should leave that at, because it can help everyone. We all have an endocannabinoid system. We all are hardwired to receive endocannabinoids. So all cannabis does is mimic the very same chemicals that our body produces anyway. I'm probably preaching to the converted right here. Normally I speak, I do a lot of talks, and I try to get this message out as much as possible. We do a lot of things where it isn't necessarily cannabis focused. So this bit, you know, might be necessary, probably isn't to you guys, but we know that cannabis works. We know that cannabis can help people. So why is the government denying us access to it? Why is the government demonizing it? Why is the Daily Mail saying all this crap about, well, we know Daily Mail, it's to sell papers, isn't it? It's not science. It's not based in science. It's not based in anything other than selling papers. So we need to get out of this, and we need to break the myth that cannabis has as a dangerous, harmful drug, because it's the complete opposite in my experience. For some people, it may cause them to have a psychotic episode, which may then be predisposed to schizophrenia if they might already get it. But that is such a tiny amount of people that is not a good excuse to deny thousands of people access, millions of people, everybody access to a medicine that works. It should just be easy. It should be easy to find. You can buy paracetamol over the counter, and that can kill you. Cannabis can't kill you. So why are we in this situation? Why does the government refuse to listen? And why do I have to sit here, talk about this, when actually, you know, do I really want to be doing this with my life? I'm not, you know, no, to be honest. I want to be at home. I want to be healing myself, using my time on myself, on trying to be well. But I can't, because my government tells me I'm a criminal, tells me you're a criminal, tells me we're all criminals for consuming a plant that is far safer than both alcohol and tobacco, which they legally sell and tax and regulate. So why are we in this situation? It's absolute hypocrisy. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I would urge I don't know all of you here, but I hope that you're involved in the cannabis activism scene, in the cannabis campaigning scene, in the cannabis industry. And I would encourage you all to continue to do so if you are, and if you're not, to get involved with it, to do something, because every single one of us has the power to make a difference. Every single one of us has the power to change people's hearts and minds when it comes to this. We need to be educated on the facts of cannabis, on the facts of prohibition. Why is prohibition harmful? We need to tool ourselves with arguments to win, so that we make sure that there's no excuse left. When they honestly, the biggest thing that comes back every time is the skunk thing. This country has some sort of obsession with skunk, and it does my head in, because as a patient in pain, skunk number 1 is actually a great strain to reduce pain, right? So for me, it's great. I love skunk. Skunk is medicine for me. So when I see all these headlines of skunk psychosis and etc., it's misleading, and it's misleading the public, and it's trying to demonize in a way which actually is wrong, and actually it discriminates against people, and it makes it us easy targets to have people just put us down and push us aside and pretend that we're not the people that we are, and pretend that we are still living in an age of stigma, fear, and misinformation when it comes to cannabis. We can be fired, we can lose our jobs, we can lose our family, we can lose our children, we can lose everything just because of a plant, just because one plant that helps people have a better quality of life, or helps people to relax at the end of the day, because in my opinion, that is medicinal. Because if you're stressed, stress is a huge factor in getting ill, right? So if you're stressed and you consume a plant to reduce that stress, that is a medicinal quality. That is a medicinal therapeutic effect of cannabis. So every single person has the potential to consume cannabis medicinally and therapeutically. It isn't just about people like me, or people with cancer, or people with diabetes or epilepsy. I said I wouldn't give the list, but there's a little bit of it. It's not just about us, it's about everyone. It's about everyone utilising our endocannabinoid system to be the healthiest and most well that we possibly can be. So I think that is our main aim and our main cause. We do quite a lot of things. We put on events, we do talks, we do stalls, we talk about cannabis, we go and do media interviews, we do as much as we can to raise awareness and to change the stigma, and to say, do you know what, actually, there's more to this than you think. And as unfortunate as it is, some people are ignorant and bigoted and have the views that cannabis is a terrible thing. And the only way for a lot of them to actually understand that it may be more than that is if a patient like me, or with a serious illness, is able to say to them, do you know what, look, this is real, this helps me. For some reason, and for some, I'm not sure why it is. I think it's because the whole drugs are bad. If you take drugs, you're a bad person. Cannabis is a drug, therefore, if you take cannabis, you're a bad person, you're immoral. I think it's that. And I think that when it goes into someone saying, you know what, actually, I'm sick and it helps me have a better quality of life, it kind of breaks that. People go, huh? It kind of breaks that stereotype, and it makes people able to realise and understand in a way, because even often, not everyone, but even the most judgmental people often have empathy, and when they can put themselves in the position of, if someone's unwell and it makes them better, then that isn't immoral. For some, I don't agree that taking drugs is immoral at all. I think it's a basic human instinct, and I think that every human culture ever has taken some form of drugs. So I think that those people are probably misinformed anyway, but whether we like it or not, they are. So we find that the best way to get through to them, the best way to change their minds, and the best way to break that thinking is to say, look, it's medicine and it helps. So we do that, and we're going to continue to do that. If anyone wants to help or wants to know any more, we have a stall just over there, and we're going to be here all weekend. We also have our AGM on the 30th of September here in Birmingham too, so everyone would be welcome to come to that. It's at the Irish Centre. What else? I'm sure there's more. But yeah, just if there's any questions or anyone wants to know anything, feel free to come over. We've got a team of people here today with a range of different illnesses. So yeah, we've got quite a few different bases covered. So any information that anyone wants, we're here to help, and we're here to give free advice, and we're here to try to do our bit to change this ridiculous madness that is cannabis prohibition. So thank you for listening, and enjoy your weekend. Thank you. Oh, I didn't talk about this. I'll say 1 second that this is Sativex. This is GW cannabis, which is legally available to some people with MS in this country. I can't get it because it's too expensive. So although I save £30,000 every year, this costs £5,000, and the budget for spasticity, which this is licensed for, is only £2,000. So I can't get it. But there is legal cannabis in this country. The government have licensed this company to make this tincture. It is full cannabis extract. It has every single cannabinoid in the cannabis plant in it. They will try and tell you that it's just THC and CBD. It isn't. It's whole plant, full cannabis extract that any one of us could make at our own home if we wish. But we would be risking a criminal prosecution if we did so. GW Pharmaceuticals. 28 countries around the world this is shipped to, making a load of money, trading well on the stock exchange. Cannabis, apparently no medicinal value. So this is the hypocrisy that we are currently living in, and this is why we need every single one of you to please help and please raise as much awareness as you can, and please try and help us to make a difference and to change this, because this is wrong and it has to change. Thanks.